Drug abuse is a huge issue in today's society. First of all, what is drug abuse? Drug abuse occurs when you're not able to control your use of prescribed drugs or are using an illegal substance to the point that interferes with your ability to function. Drug abuse leads to other health problems, such as drunk driving, violence, stress, or child abuse. There are 5 reasons why teenagers decide to do. Firstly, teenagers do drugs to calm stress. The number one reason for using drugs is to deal with the pressures and stress of school. The second reason teenagers use drugs is to look cool and to be accepted, or because of low self-esteem. Teens have low self-esteem are most likely to seek acceptance from the wrong crowd by using drugs. 65% of teens say they use drugs to feel cool, even though it can lead to harmful behaviors and actions. The third cause of drug abuse is self-medication. Many teens who are unhappy don't know how to find a healthy outlet for their frustration. These pent-up emotions can take an emotional toll and can even lead to depression or anxiety. Another reason why teenagers do drugs is because of the misinformation. Teenagers are widely misinformed about the dangers of drugs. The last reason why teenagers do drugs is because of the easy access. Nearly 50% of teens report that it's easy for them to get marijuana, 17% say it's easy to get meth, 14.4% say it's easy to get heroin, and more than half of teens say that prescription drugs are easier to get than illegal drugs. On the political spectrum, there are different sides. There is a center or moderate, the left of center, the right of center, extreme left, and extreme right. In Canada, there are certain parties located in each group of the political spectrum. The Liberals are located in the center or moderate. The Conservatives are located on the extreme right. There are 2 parties located in the extreme left. They are the NDP and Bloc Québécois. Every Canadian citizen has their own rights according to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Canadians have a choice to smoke or do drugs, but should be more educated on the facts behind the drugs. God has created us all as His children and has created us as equal as man and woman. Every human being sins towards God, but we all deserve equality rights towards the treatment of drug abuse.
No one has the right to take away your equality rights according to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. In the political spectrum, the extreme left side would be more governed side, where they're more like God than the extreme right. This is because the extreme left would help others and love to lend a helping hand towards others no matter their actions or sin. The extreme left would most likely send the drug abuser to clinics, rehab centers, or whatever they needed to be clean. They would want to help to make these people drug-free and help them become healthier. The extreme right is total opposite. This side is more independent rather than governed. The extreme right would lend a helping hand but not toward drug abusers because they would believe your actions affect your ability towards help. Meaning the extreme right people such as the Conservatives wouldn't run rehab centers, counseling centers, or other addiction centers because it was their own choice to do drugs and they chose to continue. The center or moderate side, such as the Liberals, would be at the border of these 2 groups. The center is when they don't disagree or agree with certain issues such as drug abuse. They're neutral. I believe I am extreme left because we are all created in equal likeness of God, and it is our duty to help those in need no matter what the need is. We all sin and we have no right to judge others for their sins. As Catholics, we have the responsibility to give to others. We are all free in Canada. We have the freedom to do whatever we want, but there are consequences toward our actions. We can choose to smoke, drink, or do drugs, but there are physical and emotional consequences to these actions. Many drugs used by teenagers today are illegal drugs. If Canada made these drugs legal, the laws would change drastically and Canada's healthcare would increase too. If all drugs were legal, our world would be a different place. There would be an election to determine these laws. If drugs were legal, the government would be corrupt too. According to the Catholic Catechism, drug abuse is against the 5th commandment, thou shalt not kill. Drug abuse is harming your body and your health, which will lead to early death. In the section in the Catechism about respect for health is where drug abuse is read. 2288, life and physical health are precious gifts entrusted to us by God. We must take responsible care of them, taking into account the needs of others and the common good. 2290, the virtue of temperance disposes us to avoid every kind of excuse, the abuse of food, alcohol, tobacco, or medicine. This incurred grave guilt, who by drunkenness or a love of speed endangered their own and others' safety on the road, at air, or in the sea. 2291. The use of drugs inflicts very grave damage on human health and life. Their use, except on strictly therapeutic grounds, is a grave offense. Clandestine production of and trafficking in drugs is a scandalous practice. They constitute direct cooperation in evil, since they encourage people to practice gravely contrary in the moral law.
I don't want to waste the weekend. If you don't love me, pretend a few more hours, then it's time to go. And as my train rolls down the east coast, I wonder how you keep warm. It's too late to cry, too broken to move on. And still I can't let you be. Most nights I hardly sleep. Don't take what you don't need from me. It's just a drop in the ocean, a change in the weather. I was praying that you and me might end up together. It's like wishing for rain as I stand in the desert. But I'm holding you closer than most, 'cause you are my heaven. Misplaced trust in old friends, never counting regrets. By the grace of God, I do not rest at all. And New England as the leaves change, the last excuse that I'll claim, I was a boy who loved